Hey everyone, I'm Crystal Jigrup, and this is Empowered by Women. In August of 2021, I launched Book of Bijou, which is a line of chic and innovative jewelry storage. And in January of 2022, we expanded into what you now see as the Empowered by Women platform. I really wanted to create a centralized space where we can really put emphasis on our mission of women empowerment and community over competition. It really truly does fill my cup to be surrounded by so many of you inspiring women, and the energy that you bring to me and our platform on a daily basis is unmatched. You really all do fuel me with so much motivation to continue doing what I'm doing, and for that, I thank you. Before we jump into the episode, please be sure to follow or subscribe to us wherever you are listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. And also don't forget to share your favorite episodes with your fellow female founders so that we can continue growing our platform and furthering our mission. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this next interview with another incredible woman in entrepreneurship that I know you guys are going to absolutely love. Today, we have the incredible Kelly Keefe. She is a thought leader, a Reiki master, teacher, spiritual business alchemist. She is a best-selling author, so many things. And of course, she is also the founder of the Heartspace. I am so excited that you're joining us today, Kelly. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for creating the container to be able to have this conversation.
Absolutely. So to start off, where are you joining us from today?
Yeah, currently I'm in South Florida. I travel quite a bit. I've been blessed to have a season of being here almost for a full month. So I'm in SoFlo right now, and then I'll continue on travels.
Okay, amazing. Any ideas of where to next?
Oh yeah, it's all mapped out. I head to Iceland. I'll be there for a bit, and then I'm doing a cruise with my partner, and then I'll be over in Europe working and doing some training, some teaching in Europe for the summer.
Amazing. Well, I like to start off the conversation by you giving us a little bit of background and how that has all kind of transpired and led you to the heart space, and also tell us what the heart space is. So I'll just hand you the mic and give us all the details.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting to always look at. I love the Steve Jobs quote of you can always like connect the dots looking back. So being able to see that my journey to my destiny path really began the end of freshman year of college, where I embarked on a radical weight loss journey. It was like a light switch just went on. And I wish it was like I met someone, this and that. It's truly just like something like in the unseen world, which is like, okay, it's time for her to remember and turned on a light switch. And so my mindset radically shifted and immediately went into, okay, I'm going to exercise every day, eat super clean, and just went on this route, changed my major to business management, found my way to meditation and yoga. And so all of this was priming me to the space of stepping into entrepreneurship right out of college. And also while in my meditation practice, hearing, look up healing modalities, you're a healer. And very quickly, life radically shifted and changed. And I was brought on the path of the healing arts and working in my own healing work, simultaneously building my first startup. So I got to see firsthand, my lens at least, that entrepreneurship and spirituality are one and the same in many ways. So it's really been this journey since 2012 of growing in these different ways and playing and growing in my own healing arts, traveling the world, studying with different spiritual teachers and indigenous leaders, and doing the deep work and building my tool belt to help others in rising. So I started the Heart Space in 2016. It started with me simply facilitating Reiki sessions on people. And then, of course, it's grown and evolved over the years. So now we have the academy. So I do Reiki trainings and we do Reiki mentorship for those who want to not only activate their healing gifts, but how do they build a practice and be able to get out into the world in those gifts. And then we do subconscious rewiring and retreats and transformational programs and the whole gamut.
And I love the name of it, first of all, the heart space. It just feels like it's just a good place to be. Like you go in there and you feel really good about everything that you're doing. And I also love this connection with, like with the energetics and the spirituality with business. It's a common theme that I've been seeing a lot of lately, and I love to see everyone's kind of different perspectives on it. Because of course, everyone has kind of different levels of spirituality and how they relate to it as well, right? So I would love to dive more into that. And I also want to kind of
I will say that I don't know how high my spirituality is. I mean, I think there's some levels in the way that I operate. But there are some terminology that I want you to break down for us. So I know you work with business owners to help them attain six-figure businesses in Dharma is something that's I've seen in your bio. So can you break that down to us? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so good. So for me with Dharma, when we look at like the Sanskrit like lineage of it, but when we break it down into just, sitting over coffee with anyone walking in of all walks of life, essentially it's our destiny. What is the destiny path? When we go deeper into looking at these things, we can see, wow, our soul came in with an assignment. It came in with, I like to look at it as it's our job description. And what's fun is that when we remember, we start to say, okay, cool. So this is my job this lifetime. And here's my roles and responsibilities that come with it. Brings more fulfillment because it's something that we already picked. We were literally built by design to fulfill whatever it is that we're here to do. So our Dharma is simply what is the job that our soul signed up to do this lifetime that's in alignment with what we're actually built by design to do.
That is amazing. So how is anyone even supposed to know what their assignment was or is?
Yeah. Well, and I truly believe it's not a just here's the one thing you're here to do because we're here to grow and expand, right? So it's not like, okay, a great example I used me like for a while, I was like, okay, I'm just here to share Reiki. Yes, I'm here to do that. And since then, I've written 4 books and I have a bunch more coming. I have a novel coming out through a major publication. So we're going the fiction realm. And I see the arts with that. And I'm here to do X, Y, Z. So there's so many different pieces. It just continues to grow and expand as we grow and expand and remember. But a big piece of it is when we can start to look at, be like, get curious of what it could be. What are things we enjoy doing as a kid? What was natural to us? What lit us up? What brought us joy? And then we can continue to go deeper into our, whatever meditative practice works for you. It can be dance, it can be making art, it may be sitting and meditating, and working with somebody who can support in teaching us how to go deep and listen within. We all already know the answers. Oftentimes we just don't trust ourselves enough to know the answers, or we don't create enough space to go in and listen.
I like that you mentioned that there's no just one right assignment, right? There's multiple things that you might be designed to do and that the world is needing from you. So I'm curious about whether it's in your personal story or the clients that you've worked with. It's something that I've seen multiple times where people think that they're being called in a certain direction and then they follow that calling and then it doesn't quite pan out the way that they expect it to or hope it to. And then they're left feeling kind of lost, like, well, I thought that was my purpose in life, but it's not. So what am I supposed to do? Like, how is someone supposed to navigate from an experience like that? And did you yourself kind of ever have that moment where you were like, okay, well, I guess this is not what I was meant to do, but now what?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's what's so interesting is when we can continue to trust the process because sometimes just because something didn't pan out, one opportunity that was like, wow, this is everything I think I'm supposed to be doing in my purpose, just because that one doesn't pan out, doesn't mean something similar is not going to come in the future. Maybe we needed to have that experience because there was something we needed to learn for our own development. And or maybe there was a tool that we needed to learn, or simply there's a soul contract with that thing. So one, I would just remind all of us, like, don't rule it out. Just because one experience didn't go the way you anticipated, it doesn't mean that that's the end all be all. This is a marathon. If we can continue to remember, like I have many experiences within my own where I've seen the visions of the lands and this and that. And several times it's been this close to a land project of thinking it's the perfect Dharma partner for this to be created. And we're almost about to sign the line and then it imploded. And that broke my heart because that was very similar. I was like, wait, I thought this was it. Like I thought I was like signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Let's do this. And then to see just this year another opportunity with another group of people for a very similar project came into my field. okay, and now I'm navigating it differently this time. And I can see, so one, I just want to remind all of us, like, trust the process. Just because the first one doesn't land, and sometimes we are going off what we think it's supposed to be, and just continuing to always ask, okay, what tools did I just receive? Because the grand scheme of things, we're just here. It's Earth School. In the grand scheme of things, we're just here for our soul growth. We're here to build and have fun with how much we can create in this world. But at the end of the day, it's all whose line is it anyway? It is all made up, and the points do not matter. It's not that serious.
I love that so much. And I love that you use the phrase soul growth. That's so good. I do think, everything you said is so true. Like, we could totally be on the right path or have the kind of right concepts, that right foundation, but then the vehicle that we use to bring it to fruition wasn't the right one for us. So that's why we can kind of pursue something so heavily and not see the outcome that we were expecting, because it's not quite the way that we were meant to do it, right? But the idea is there. We just have to figure out, how can we continue to incorporate the things that we've learned, the things that have felt good, and move that in the future. And then usually it's in hindsight, you're like, okay, now I can see, now I can see all the dots start to connect, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So
Divine timing's real.
I believe it. I believe it 100%. So in your work, you talk about how energy healing and energy work gives you a competitive edge in business. And in the Aquarian Age, first of all, break down the Aquarian Age for us, for those that might not be familiar with the term.
Got you. Yeah. So the Aquarian Age officially we've shifted into, we're now moving through for the next 2,000 years. So all of us, this is all we're going to know for the rest of time, unless someone ultra biohacks and does the things for millennia, and kudos to you. But the Aquarian Age started at the Great Conjunction on December 21st, 2020. And essentially what this means is that there's been a shift in the collective energy of the constellation that we're all now operating under. So we've been moving from a Piscean way and the energies, now as a collective, the undercurrent that's running us all is the Aquarius energy. And Aquarius is the innovator, the eccentric, new information, innovation, change, energy, spirituality. And so we can see it even when, like, the years leading up to it started to come a little bit more popular. But then the end of 2020, when we can remember everything that was happening in 2020, and then the shift into 2021, the discussion of spirituality and energy healing and spiritual business and all the things, it's AI. You can see it very quickly. So we're now in a new energy that is running the way that we work and operate as a collective. It's the new norm that's starting to set in for us.
Hey, beautiful humans, really quick, did you know that hiring a virtual assistant saves people 14.7 hours per week on average? As our platform and my family continues to grow, I knew there was no way that I could keep doing it all alone. And I mean, who wants to anyway, right? So I finally made the leap to hire a VA, and it has been game changing. iWorker actually came recommended to me by a friend who also has a VA that she loves from there. And there's so much more to the agency that actually really drew me to them and made me feel comfortable taking that leap and making the commitment to bringing on a VA, which is a huge decision. Not only does iWorker ensure that their VAs are top tier, they're committed to hiring people from countries in crisis where the work that you're providing really does matter. iWorker was actually co-founded by a Venezuelan immigrant in response to the Venezuelan refugee crisis, which is why their mission is so profoundly rooted the way that it is. And most of their team, which is 65% women, which we love, they're able to support multiple family members thanks to the income that they're receiving from iWorker. My VA has been an absolute game changer, and she has a little one of her own, which makes me appreciate her work ethic even more and makes me feel really good that I did make the decision to go with iWorker. So if you are ready to start taking that busy work off of your plates so that you can focus on the work that really does matter in your business and in growing your business, head to iWorker. They'll take care of all the things: social media, video editing, graphic design, copywriting, you name it. head to iWorker. It is going to be an affiliate link that's in the notes, but just know I do not take that lightly, okay? I only share things with you that I really do know and that I actually use and 100% will continue to support. So again, that link is in the show notes, but let's go ahead and get back to the episode. So how does that energy healing and that energy work come into play when it comes to how you operate your business?
Yeah. Well, when we can understand, let's say remember, when we can begin to remember that our business has its own consciousness and there's an energy behind it. And especially if we're, say, a service space, people are coming as an extension of your energy. What you're putting out is what people are actually being magnetized to of what you're putting out there. And so when we can remember, oh, wow, the actual energy of what the container is that we're putting out, that's what people are responding to. And that's what people, whether it's conscious or unconsciously, that's what they're making decisions off of anyway. And again, it depends on, there's different businesses and different strategies of things. When you're a service-based business, especially say the healing arts or coaching and things of that nature, it is an energetic exchange that is at play. And then there's other business, but still your own sustainability of your own energetics. Do you understand yourself so you can stay thriving? Do you know how to stay elevated so you can receive the ideas and the ahas and the downloads? It can just make things simpler. It doesn't necessarily make it easy, but it can make it simpler. Like last week, I had attuned 5 students to level 1 that Sunday. So that week, I'm supporting them more so energetically, which also gives me a little extra super boost to myself. And oh my gosh, I have pages and pages. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Now I just know the plan. Just follow these next steps. It makes it less of me trying to figure it out and much more being able to say, oh, cool, let me just receive and listen and execute from the space of service and be able to exude more of that energy of grace and ease and divine guidance.
Amazing. I like the phrase that you used when you said, do you know how to stay elevated? That's so good. And all of these things that you're saying is really, it's starting to give us a glimpse of how you can start doing the energy work and aligning that with your business. The way that you were talking about how you allow yourself to sit and listen and receive and then exude that back. So for someone that is not quite in that space or not familiar with how to start aligning the two things with their energetics and with their business, do you have any kind of like exercises or routines or something that you give to your clients to help them start getting into that kind of mind frame where the energetics really is something to focus on?
Yeah. Well, one, that's, people tend to come to me for that. I never force it on any of my clients, but a part of my offering is for a level 1 attunement. So right from the jump, they're shifting. And when we do a level 1 Reiki attunement, it permanently shifts the baseline frequency that we operate at. So it's literally just kind of like in ways like a cheat code to timeline hop your frequency. So you're already at a higher frequency aligned with higher results and your higher timeline in those spaces. So one, that I really believe if we lived in a world that everyone got attuned to at least level 1, we would live in a world of ease, grace, and peace, truly. But say someone's like, I don't really know about that. Another great practice is having tea with your business. And I mean, literally make yourself a cup of tea or coffee or a snack, whatever you want. You're not limited to tea. It's your life. Do whatever you want. But getting a cup of tea for yourself and making a second one and literally sitting at a table and creating a space and welcoming the business to sit with you. So you're really starting to put that separation of, I'm not my business. I am the steward of whatever this business is, that its consciousness, its mission is for the planet. And we can begin to dialogue with it much more to hear what is its goals? What is its heart? What is the essence of the business? I've done this with the Heartspace a lot, where there's times I was trying to bring it some other way because I'm expanding as Kelly Keefe. And then the Heartspace is like, that's not my essence. You can go do that, but that's a different project. It's not the Heartspace. And so being able to really acknowledge and begin to cultivate a relationship to the business can be a really powerful way to start to cultivate that.
That's so interesting. So when you were saying that, I was like visualizing myself doing it. And I really like the idea of it. It's something I would honestly never in a million years have thought to do, to have tea with my business. But I like how it does take you out of it, right? And it allows you to view your business from a completely different light because you're no longer in it. You're viewing it from an outside perspective and trying to understand it as a separate entity. I'm going to try that. That I feel like I'm going to get a lot of like epiphanies if I do that.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. It's such a game changer, especially as women, right? Like when we can remember, like great example of like children, right?
Mhm.
We children are not, and I'm not a mother, but I get the analogy because I look at my businesses, my creations as my children. You know,
Mhm.
if we birth a child, we're not the child. We're the steward of the child, and we're just here to support it to grow into whatever, whoever they are to be. Same thing with the business. It
Mhm.
chose us. We conceived the idea, we birthed the business, and then we're just here to help it grow and steward it into whoever the soul of that business is that it came to be this lifetime.
Okay. I definitely want to dive more into your story and how you've kind of how you were talking about how you're kind of growing in a different way than your business was designed to be. We're going to dive back into that. But before we get to your personal story, I also want to ask you about how does the energy work and the energy healing kind of play into the role of your relationship with like finances and with sales? How does that work together?
Yeah. You know, my relationship with finances has been a huge part of my journey. So much scarcity mindset and fear of money. I went through a season of being like, this is all messed up. It doesn't matter. And like, no money, you know, like, and so that was a huge growing for me, which one, I'm so grateful now to be in a space that I support people in that now. So everything we go through so we can support other people to go through it, you know, to see now again, it's that understanding of money is a consciousness, it's an energy. And when I was able to remember and start to work in that space of welcoming in my relationship and the relationship to money, that allows me to have a fuller cup to serve and to see and really own the value of lives change when working in my orbit, and it's to allow that space to really be able to do the mission. So within that, and then sales, I look at it more as sharing. Now, I'm not afraid of sales. I've had sales jobs in the past. I love sales trainings, this and that. Like I love like working with my clients on sales and overcoming their blocks. So it's natural to me. It's always been very natural. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I forget sometimes we have to do training because some people are like, but for me, there's soul contracts. We need to know the structure of what it is that we offer, and you need to be able to guide somebody because it is a process of saying, you're here and you want to go here, and I can get you there. So we need to be able to confidently share and know our stuff to be able to say it. But I don't really look at any more sales as a like, I have to convince somebody of this. I know what I have. And I think that's where when we come into the energy work and being able to be like, if you're really aligned and you're really doing what you're here to do, you don't have to convince anyone of anything. It's their loss. That's really how I look at it. Like, cool, like this is the thing. And if you're not being like, okay, cool. Either we don't have a soul contract to do it, or your soul's not ready, and I'll catch you on the next one. But God always provides. I'm always provided for. I have what I need, and just kind of keep it moving. So it's a lot of mindset shift of like, it's not do or die. Like if you don't invest in yourself in this way, all right, good luck. Like, but I can help you. I know I can get you where you want to go, but who am I to impose on your journey if that's not what you're feeling?
I love that for so many different reasons. And for one, it's almost like you're also recognizing the other person's energy, right? And seeing how your energies connect. So it's more than just you, and it's more than just pitching your item, right? Really recognizing like, is this for them? Are they for this? And then it also is protecting your own energy because you're recognizing whether there's a disconnect or
Mm-hmm.
no alignment. I also like that it also gives you the permission to be okay with rejection because you're understanding the underlying reasoning of it. So there are so many key things that you just shared that I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I love that. And it all plays down to your energy work, which is amazing. So I want to go back to what you were saying earlier when you were talking about how your business is evolving, but you're also as an individual evolving and kind of on a different tangent. So how is someone supposed to navigate that? Because I think, you know, the instinctive response would be like, okay, well, this is what I like now, so this is what my business is going to like. But you're saying they're completely two separate entities, and we need to be mindful of that. We need to be mindful of our energy and that essence of what our business is. So how are you able to kind of navigate that and still kind of honor yourself and your business separately and still like love what it is that you do?
Yeah. And I feel it's that disclaimer out there, it's never definitives, and it's not always that way for everybody. There may be an evolution in somebody, and a great example, let's keep it in the frame of different courses I offer, right? So that still all stays within the wheelhouse, but as I evolve, what I'm teaching evolves in different ways. There's some things that have stayed the same. We still do the Reiki trainings, and that's a base. But the very first 8-week transformational program I did was called Living in Alignment. And now my signature program's Permission Granted, where we go deeper into what is the soul mission and clearing the subconscious beliefs and anchoring into that energy. And so that all stays within the wheelhouse. But it was more, I went through another way of awakening where I started making music. And I started channeling my books on the regular, and the novel got picked up. And it was so much more of this space of like, wow, my artistry and this deep desire of moving back into speaking on stages and doing more of the business coaching and all of this of cool, I've built something amazing with the Heartspace, and I know, and it lights me up to help people build their business. But something wasn't meshing where it started to get too, I was trying to fit it all under the Heartspace, and it was just getting confusing to me, which means it was definitely confusing to anyone coming to the page. So I was able to, or I just had to sit and say, wait, let's really look at what this is. And just, okay, it's okay. Permission granted, take the dose of my own medicine. It's okay for me to finally launch my personal brand site that is me, that is all of the creations and the books and coaching one-on-one with me, and keep the Heartspace back the essence of who it wants to be, which is the healing arts and supporting healers. So the next evolution of that is we've brought on practitioners from the lineage who are ready to really build their practice. So the Heartspace is now evolving in its own way, and I'm creating that space of, okay, I have time where I'm working on the business, that's the Heartspace, and I have a team, so I don't have to put so much time of my own birthing in it. And so it goes to school, it has a team. It's not with me all day, every day. So we can start to build out more of the personal brand.
You answered my question because I was going to ask about how do you start evolving and start incorporating all of these new ideas without creating confusion for your audience? Because I feel like a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we have so many ideas that are constantly just running rampant, and we want to do all the things, and we're very ambitious, and we know we're capable of doing so much. But then it does start to get kind of unclear what our mission is, right? When we kind of throw it all into one space. So I love that you really took that time to reflect and realize, you know what, like this business is still evolving, and I am still allowed to evolve on my own, and it doesn't need to be just one thing. And you can have multiple things, or you can start creating different avenues where you're honoring all of those different parts of yourself that this is work that you were meant to put out to the world. So I'm glad that you already dove into that. I really love your story. Can you tell us more about the books that you've written and what the readers can expect if they were to dive into those?
So you can get Rise Above Fear. It's out on Amazon. And that was my first channeled book. But I did a deep dive on understanding fear on a psychological and a physiological and a vibrational level. And seeing that it's really gotten a bad rap and it's really misunderstood. So how can we begin to truly understand what's happening with fear and how to learn to befriend it, to really nourish and embrace it as part of our team so we can move through anything that's coming to us that we want to do with fear on board. So rather than trying to repress it or slay it, actually embrace it and start to create a new relationship with it. So it's a pretty to the point read. There's a bunch of practices in it and journal prompts. I have a lot of people who have gone through and they're just like, yep, I now understand how fear works and I'm good. Let's go. Which is really cool. And then I have a couple of books that are in the editing process right now that I'll share a bit more when I'm ready to put them out there. But I had 2 books come through me in November last year. So now we're refining and moving through that. And then I have a novel that I wrote in 2016, and that got picked up by Pegasus Publishing House. So we're in the process with that. And then we'll be planning out the book launches, and that'll be in major bookstores in the UK and in the US. And it's a fiction story of a woman who goes through a unceremonious breakup and throws a dart at a world map for a new start, and it lands in New York City. So it's the tale of her getting acclimated to a new city and beginning the start of a spiritual awakening. So it's the first of it's a 3-part series.
Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds like something I'd be very interested in. So I will definitely check that out. That one's already out.
We're in the final stages of it right now of getting like mapping out the publicity. It should be, fingers crossed. Traditional publishing has been a big learning curve for me of this process. My prayers will be out by the end of this year, maybe early next year.
Okay. So I do have I guess this might be a little bit of a personal question
Cool.
for me, but hopefully it will help other people. So for those that have not yet written a book, but are looking to add that author title to their resume and are feeling overwhelmed by the idea of, oh my gosh, I'm going to write a whole book. What do you have any advice for, like, what the process is to get started, and any like maybe good practices along that journey?
Yeah. Well, one, I'd say come to one of my upcoming book writers retreats where we'll get it out and done. But it's something you could start today. Honestly, like a joke amongst writers. I wrote my first chapter book in elementary school. So again, it's one of those things of like, it's who I am. But so I have a lot of writer friends. I'm going to say the most challenging thing for a writer to do is sit down and write. You know, it's a challenge that we have to fight ourselves to let the muse come in. You know, so one of those things is the discipline. I was putting on your calendar every day. You're going to sit down for 15 minutes or 20 minutes and write. Even if you just stare at the computer for the 20 minutes and you write 3 words, you did your time. But just starting to build that is a great way to start that. And then of course there's structures and, you know, outlines and this and that. And, you know, we're connected. So you feel free to reach out to me, you know, directly. But if there's anyone else, you can always feel free to reach out to me. I might have some resources for you, or check out some of the book writing retreats we have coming. Because a lot of people ask me, they're like, you wrote 2 books in a week. How do you do that? I was like, I channel them. I learned to get into alignment and I write, you know, so we're starting, and people are like, please. So we're getting, we have some writing retreats coming up in the near future.
Do you have dates already set?
We're going to be doing a small one in Portugal in July. So there's like a spot or 2. We kept it a little bit more low key. With enough people asked, I said, listen, if we have enough people, we'll do it. So we have one in July, taking place in Portugal. So if anyone wants more information, again, we're keeping it's not promoted, but I'll plant that seed. And then I'll finalize some dates with you all shortly. We're finalizing the rest of the year. I am blessed to say I'm all over the globe for the rest of the year. So we're just mapping everything out and finalizing over the next couple of weeks here.
Amazing. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. I guess I'm throwing it out into the world that I'm hoping to write a book.
Got it, girl.
But yeah, I'm definitely in that mindset where like it feels overwhelming. So I'm very curious to look into these retreats that you're hosting, and hopefully I can join in sometime in the future. That would be amazing. But oh my gosh, Kelly, you are full of so much, first of all, amazing energy, which is what this conversation has been primarily about, but a lot of really great insights that I'm so grateful that you are here to share with our audience. So where can they connect with you if they want to learn more, if they want to buy your books, or if they want to, you know, learn more about these retreats and the Heartspace and everything that you've got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the best ways to connect with me directly is Instagram. I am Kelly Keefe. And through there, through the various links, you can find your way to all of the things. Feel free to DM me. Let me know you heard me here. Any questions? I love humans, and I'm a loquacious human. So feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect with you. And then also there'll be links below where people can, go to the Heartspace and see what we have going on. It's kind of the best way. Keep it simple.
Perfect. And of course, all of those links will be in the show notes. But again, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a joy.
Another incredible interview with yet another inspiring woman in entrepreneurship. I hope you guys loved that episode just as much as I did. But before we leave off, if you yourself are also a woman entrepreneur, I would love for you to consider joining our Empowered by Women directory. We're looking for women-owned product and service-based businesses in the US to help us build the go-to place for our communities to find local women to shop with and connect with, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. All of the details can be found on www.empoweredbywomen.com/apply-directory. Of course, that's going to be linked in the show notes below, and you're also welcome to reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. But other than that, thank you again so much for joining us, and I will see you in the next episode.